It's going down like this, motherfucker.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
Your feet. He looked down, seen her feet. The nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air.
I mean, TikTok. I mean, TikTok. I mean, TikTok.
You're a philosopher?
Yes.
You're a philosopher?
Yes.
You're a philosopher?
Yes.
I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
Turn myself on and turn myself up. All right. Here we are back. And I am going to give you my review of The Flash. What's happening, James? Thank you for joining. And because you are here, I know you've got to have
vision.
my man PJ Allen. And I know you know how to control your
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
and I know you've got
To have vision.
OTF, what is happening? And I know you've got
To have vision.
yeah, I had to make up a show. Friday morning, I think. Yeah, I came on Wednesday night, Friday. Yeah, I didn't sleep. I turned around Thursday morning, got off of here, and went straight to play pickleball. I played 2.5 hours of pickleball. So Thursday night, I was out. When I came home, literally, I came home, I went to bed. Like I slept. So I got done playing pickleball about noon. I slept from 1 to 7, came and ate with my fiance, and then I turned around and went back to bed. She's like, I thought you was sick. But I was just tired, you know. But I'm here to do The Flash. So anybody, if it's spoilers, but if there was ever a movie that needed to be spoiled, it's this movie. This movie was trash. The Flash was trash. I had such high hopes for this movie, but none of it was met. None of the high hopes was met. Oh, let me show y'all though. I got my Willie Dynamite. Ooh, I got that Willie Dynamite, y'all. Look at that. That's shatter. This is about 3 grams. I think I got 4 grams. I bought 7 grams of it. So this is some Willie Dynamite, y'all. So smoke them if you want them for sure. But the main problem I had, a couple in like the beginning scene. The beginning scene, he's saving a hospital with babies, okay? Babies is falling all around. It's like it's raining babies and he's got to find them. literally the CGI, like when the Gipper says things are, what do they say, made bad on purpose? That's the feeling I got about it. It literally felt like it was bad on purpose. And that's the feeling I got. As he's saving these babies it's raining babies because this building exploded at the hospital. I mean, it couldn't have been any worse CGI. It was like the beginning CGI almost. I mean, that's how bad it looked. Like even in the end of the movie when they brought back Nicolas Cage is playing Superman. That was kind of interesting because it looked like it was actually a storyline there. But all the CGI did not. I mean, it looked like old CGI. It did not look like up-to-date CGI. Again, I was trying to compare Spider-Man to Transformers. I even think the CGI in Transformers was better. And I complained about that. So, all right, let me get my notes. I'll give y'all my notes because I forgot. All right. Okay, so one thing he does is he strikes the Mercury pose, and let me see if I can find that, because that was something that snuck by me, was the Mercury pose. And let me see if I can find. Like, really? You have to take this shit away? There we go. All right. Let me see if I can find a Mercury pose. Because that's what he does. And he does it so... let's see. Let's see if that would bring up anything. It brought up that Mercury. Let me see if I can go here and find it. Greek God. None of that. Ah, here we go. This might be it. Let's see if we can get this pose in here. Right here. Yeah. Okay, I found it. So they give you this. They give you this type of pose. This is where Flash, they compare Flash to Mercury. And they give you this pose. Like, it's so subtle, but they give you this. They really give you this pose, which I thought was interesting. Let's see if it's the other one. But yeah, that's what they give you. They give you this pose. And they go back in time and kind of show you the original kind of Mercury that they based the character on. So I thought that was interesting that they would do that. And, like last night, I normally don't do Fridays, but I want to do a review. But, Friday nights is date night. So, we had to have the date night. Okay, another aspect of Flash is grounded. I mean, we get that because he only travels on the ground, basically, despite him being able to fly. Remember, the Flash can fly, technically. He can fly. So the Flash is always grounded. So that's something that I'd never really picked up before, that he's actually grounded. Because, well, he can fly, but he doesn't fly. Yeah, the CGI was not that good. I mean, it was like the Gipper says, it's like they made it bad on purpose. I mean, it's really, I know I'm repeating myself, but it really, as I went from Transformers, Spider-Man to Transformers. And it just seems like the CGI is getting worse and worse. So that was it was like, this is not the newest CGI. You can do better than this. But the story was all over. But this is another part. They made the Flash Hispanic. His mother's Hispanic. All right? His mother's Hispanic. And again, we see the number 24. And my fiance was like, well, 24, you say it just means for melanated people, black folks. But no, this was they mark, and we can go back to the Flash. We can go back to Spider-Man, where we see Spider-Man wearing the 42. Now I think in the Spider-Man, the 42, Brooklyn's for Connie Hawkins. But again, this can be, this is another marking. And so the mother has got 42, or it's 42 around the mother. And I'm like, wow. And then we got Wonder Woman, which is super Jew. You got the super Jewish faith person. Ooh, let me have some of this early morning Willie Dynamite. Need some more in there. Well, so that was another issue I had. Now, so when he goes into the Speed Force, one thing it does is the Speed Force, like when he goes back in time, it kind of gives you almost, well, I'll say this. They give you first a little string theory, but then they give you like the portholes. So kind of what they do, the timelines, is they stack them. So when they're like in the middle of time, they're looking at the walls of different time. That's the way they break it down, is you're looking at the walls. So each level would be a different time period. And so they figure how to go back and forth in time like that. Again, not the most cleverest stuff. And then, so that part was like, okay. So you get a little bit of worm theory, and I'll say almost a little bit of the Tsar, a touch of the Tsar, because again, it gives you the different levels. The different levels are the different times. And in a way, like he could kind of poke his head. He learned that he could go through any time. So as he looks at time, he could poke his head in and he can see, if he wants to go into that realm or not, which is a little bit Tsar-ish. That's like the Tsar. But I put layers of reality, roles of reality. Light and time is a big light and time, because again, they look at the light trying to show you how fast he's going, and then again trying to reverse time, or going so far out of time. Now let me say this too. This goes for the TV show as well. Maybe somebody's listener remembers this, but there was a TV show where it wasn't Americans Home's Greatest Videos. It wasn't that. It was another show that highlighted videos and people won weekly. Well, if you look at the guy, when you look at Flash running and that, which it ain't much more advanced than the dude I'm talking about. This dude who invented this, he got to play it in a TV series too. It was a TV series he got. But the guy who invented the video, like to make Flash look like he's running fast, there's a dude who invented that technology. And they're still using it. And this technology is at least 20 to 30 years old. And they've enhanced it, of course, because in the old way, you could kind of just see one version of him like coming at you fast from this angle. And you could see where they added the CGI and turned it around so you could see him running fast at the other angle. But it's basically what that dude who won the video contest, because I know he sold it to a couple shows because he played a character. He played a speed character. And so that's been around for a long time. So I'm like, they ain't even, they still using this. Blade of grass and the butterfly theory. They say, if you go back and step on a blade of grass, again, that's an old movie. The Blade of Grass. We know if you go back in time, remember the Blade of Grass is the dinosaur movie. It's a short story where they go back in time and they have a path and they can kill a dinosaur because they know the dinosaur is going to die anyway. So the person can go back in time and stay on the path and shoot the dinosaur. But one person walks off the path slightly and kills the butterfly. When he gets back into normal time, things have changed, which is bullshit. That's bullshit. It ain't gonna change like that. I got a good cigar downstairs. So that was kind of disappointing. Saturn Saturn was kind of highlighted. Actually, if you look at kind of some of the Speed Force, the way it was moving, it would remind you of the Saturn rings. They have him vibrate through matter, which is interesting. Those of you that know, he's been able to do that for a while, where they can vibrate. Matter of fact, not only can he vibrate through matter, he can also take someone with him to vibrate through matter. Running backwards, puts a new ripple in town. Yeah, he can phase. They showed him phasing. And they make a scene of saying time isn't linear, which is absolutely right. Time is not a clock either. Time. Well, let me back up a little bit. So time is linear when it comes like this, because you can go back and you can go forward. So it's more of a timeline than a loop. Because think about how events come about. Events come about, and then you can reverse the event, and it's still the event. So it's almost like recording back and forth. So, hey, Pale Horse Rider, thank you for joining.
Got to have vision.
Thank you. So time, well, I guess time, in a way, time is linear, but in a way you can be on a timeline. So I'm not trying to confuse it too much. New ripple phasing. There's a thing called the Florcum echo when they go back and forth too much. When they're going back and forth too much, they call it the Florcum echo. Couldn't spell it. It was interesting they put the fates in there. They kind of like, after you try something so many times, they question it. It's like, well, where does fate come in? If you're messing with timelines, where does fate come in? You dig? So fate would come in there. The fates would come in there somewhere, which has to be considered. So they made a highlight of that. This is something I got off my own stuff. Kind of put it together, but there we go. I never got this before, but remember, Batman only has wealth. Remember, all Batman's ability comes from his wealth of being able to buy tech. So therefore, Batman almost might be considered the Mai. Now I know what's the Robot Man. I know a lot of people might want to say the Robot Man is the Mai, but I think Batman is the Mai just as much as anything else. Because again, there's no special power there other than cash. He has the money to do it. So, and then, they have Supergirl, who again is Latino in the movie. And she gets killed. What is his name? Zod? Zod kills Superman. And so that's the paradox they keep having. The nerd Barry, when they go back in time, he thinks he can save her. And he never realizes, he keeps going back and forth, and he can't save her. And he's like, I got to keep trying. And then finally, the older Barry says, look, you can't do it. This is a paradox. You'll never be able to do it. Supergirl, again, is wearing the reptilian skin. That's interesting. They make Superman with the reptilian skin. If you look at their uniform, it is reptilian skin. So that's a message out there. But what's funny is, I tell you, it was a look, and I wonder if I could find this look. Michael Keaton, he had a nice look. He had a nice shirt, and he didn't have what do you call it, escort? He didn't have, that. But he had just a tie. He had the tie without a shirt. But he had like a dress shirt underneath. So it kind of worked. If you see that in the movie, that kind of worked. But it was funny, without the suit on and the nigga would fire up and run fast, he'd be smoking and shit. So that was kind of funny. And then he uses the new Barry, uses the young Barry. He uses one of Batman's older suits. And he cuts the suit up and he cuts the horns off. Batman has the cow ears. He cuts the cow ears off. So I thought that was interesting. So he's cutting off the ears of Marduk. I remember in the old Batman show, episode 33, the lady is looking at Bruce Wayne's grandfather painting, and he's in a Yale sweater, and she says, oh, he wasn't just part of of it, he founded Skull and Bones. Yeah, I saw that part be too. Iron Man as the M, Iron Man as the My. Iron Man, that's a good point too. Iron Man could be considered the My as well. You're right. And I know, researcher, you have.
You got to have vision.
That's a good point. That is a good point, researcher. You could look at that too. Again, it's a dude just with bread, but you see that the machine, the beast, is helping this dude with bread, the tech, through the text. That's a good catch. That's something I hadn't caught. Good catch. So the Joker, Bane, the League of Shadows, and all the other villains are trying to free the people from the elitist society which slaves them. That's a good point. That's a good point. But the people don't even know they're enslaved. They don't even know they're enslaved. So thank you guys for adding. And of course, you know, the Zod wants to terraform. Supergirl is the key to Krypton. Supergirl is the key to reborning Krypton. They need Supergirl's essence. They caught, see, in this reality, Supergirl was sent out before the baby Kal-El. And so she was supposed to be Kal-El's guardian. And so Kal-El, they say, did not make it. Which I thought the Giant was Kal-El, really watching. That would have made sense in the storyline, but that's not what they show. So they're trying to terraform. What was interesting too is you have and they kept saying you want to get nuts, you want to go nuts, but terraform, and then you had Immortals fighting Immortal, which makes, you know, because he even says, Batman even says, we can't kill them because Zed's army comes out, you know, they're all from Krypton, so they come to Earth, but remember they can't breathe the Earth's atmosphere. That can kill them. But you had Immortal fighting Immortal. And so technically what you had is an army of Supermen against the humans. And you only had a couple meta-humans fighting for the humans. So an army of Superman got defeated by the Flash. Well, technically, the way it ends, so you had an army of Supermans. So technically, they shouldn't have been able to get killed. And they highlight that you can't kill them, but you can stun them and disarm them. And then, okay, so then, as I was saying, younger Barry keeps wanting to go back and back and back and back, which again goes into Doctor Strange. Remember, Doctor Strange said, I went back 1,000,000 times and this is the only time we won. You get that feeling. But what you find is when Barry first goes in there, Barry again wants to change it so his mother can come back. And so Barry goes, you know, he's pissed off. He goes through time. And then Barry is in the time, again, where the time shelves are. That's the best way I can describe it. He's inside where the time shelves are. And there's somebody in there. And that somebody Barry doesn't see. And he knocks him into the young Barry's time period. Now, coming to find out at the end, they start fighting this being. And the being is young Barry. And all these years, young Barry has just kept going back trying to save Superwoman. And he was hoping, and what he says at the end is he pushed him in that timeline so he'd be born. Now, this is the paradox you get. If you're not created, how are you there in the first place? That's the main question. It's like, how was this Barry there in the first place if you were never created? Now, again, the timeline does come in to bring him in, but before that point, he shouldn't have existed. So I had a problem with that, with the time guard Barry, with the time guard young Barry that says he's the one that knocks him in so he could live. He knocks him in so the young Barry can get the powers and all that. So, and what he says is, I've lived more than you can dream. That's the Barry, the time guard Barry. I lived more than you can dream. And so it really ends where Barry's ever to save anything. They destroy the time guard. Young Barry dies, disappears. Old Barry, you know, the time guard Barry disappears. He goes back and thinks he's won everything. And then he goes back and meets Batman, and it's the Jerry Cooney Batman. So things, despite him going back and stopping his, you know, because his mother gets killed, they get his father off. All he really did is took the can of tomato sauce out of his mother's basket, so regular time goes, and then he comes back and he thinks he's cleaned up everything. Batman comes, and the first Batman was hell, I don't remember. I had to think who the first Batman was. But let's find and see if we can find any highlights. Find the trailer. Flash. Trailer. Here we go. The Flash trailer. All right. All right, we'll start from here. All right, so this is where he gets knocked into young Barry's timeline. And he gets to see his mother again all these years. Yeah, that Batman. The first Batman. I forget who played the first Batman. The first Batman wasn't George Clooney. See, and his mother's Latino. And right in this scene, you see 42. And see, in that scene, you know, if you know the story, he thinks the father killed, the father's on trial for killing the mother, because this is what he sees. The father's holding the knife and the mother's dead or dying. You know, that's what Barry's trying to say. But again, they make him Latino. And of course, he sees himself. And this is something to understand that, you know, they want to scare you and say matter can't be in two places at one time. That's a complete lie. Matter can be in, you know, they want to say you couldn't touch yourself. Well, you can. And it's not just from the movies, it's just the technology. This is where they save. So this is where, this part here is where they save Supergirl. Supergirl's locked and kept in by the Russians. They know how to enslave her. They know if she doesn't get sun, she's never strong. So they have her locked in and they have to go save her. And again, this is Michael Keaton's Batman. And I'll say this, one thing I did like, I'll say this, one thing that they were consistent of, like with the Michael Keaton Batman, they gave, like when he fought, he had the Michael Keaton Batman tech. The first Batman who played the very first Batman, he also, you saw his motorcycle. He had, so it was like every time they would show a Batman, Batman would be true using the given tech at the time. So that was probably the best part of the movie. That was the only good thing I could say is that part was okay. But the rest of the stuff, this was trash, guys. I mean, this is really trash. Michael Keaton. And then Michael Keaton does die in the movie. It's just, okay, so as I said, right here, Batman is using Batman technology. Ben, what's his name? Not Ben Stiller, but Ben is the one that was playing that Batman. Yeah, this Batman is the Ben guy. And this is what I was saying about the CGI. Just look at this. Look at this shot right here. See what I'm saying about how bad the CGI is? You know, do you see how bad it is? This looks video game-ish. This don't even look like both my monitors here are 4K monitors. Do you understand? And This is, this is video game-ish look. There's better CGI than this. There's way better CGI than this. And this is what they give us. And I was like, wow. And so that's where the Gipper says when they make stuff bad on purpose. Because look at this. This is in the movie. Look how terrible this looks. You see my point about the CGI? This is how bad it looks. This is like from 2015 or something. They've got newer CGI than this. Now, this isn't bad. This isn't bad here. Again, it's the Mercury pose. They highlight that throughout the movie. Him catching up with the Speed Force. But even, okay, I'm going to give you look at this. And look at this. You see, they can make it look better if they want to make it look better. See the difference? But they got lazy or cheap. And this is the fight with Zod. Again, this is Supergirl. This is when they break out. They break Supergirl out. Him and Batman. Kind of going backwards. These are the double Barrys, young Barry, old Barry. And the young Barry gets the power. When he takes the young Barry to the classroom, young Barry, see, when he went in this reality, he lost all his powers. So he takes young Barry where he gets, the power. And then later they give old Barry the power. So, and of course, that's Supergirl. Now, even this, look at this. Even this isn't the greatest CGI. And this is her laying on a platform, of course. But it's just, I don't know, guys. For as much money they spent on this, visually it wasn't appealing. That's all I'm going to say, is visually it wasn't appealing. So, and the story is really jumbled. It's like totally jumbled story. Like, I rarely, I don't like movies because basically I don't like movies. Like, if the story's crap, the screenplay's crap, the animation, CGI ain't good, I'd be disappointed. And I mean, like, within 45 minutes of sitting there, I was like, this movie's garbage. And so my girl, as soon as we come out, sure enough, she was like, that movie was terrible. That's her first thing she said. She said, that movie was terrible. And she was right. The movie was trash. It was definitely trash. So, let me see. Oh, Dr. Sinister. And I know you've got
to have vision.
Thank you for joining. It's the year of Skull and Bones. Connecticut, home of UConn, wins the chip. You got the Skull and Bones and the logo in Denver's. Las Vegas Golden Knights too. That's a good catch. So the Skull and Bones is in UConn. And then you've got the logo in the Denver and the Golden Knights. Yes, that is a good breakdown. We do have that. What's UConn got to do with Skull and Bones? I think it was done in Yale. I think Skull and Bone was done with Yale, and I think they are the Huskies. So, yeah. I think they're near each other, too. UConn and Yale, aren't they near each other? I think. So, I think that's the correlation they put through. Oh, and I want to thank PJ Allen for this hat, I gotta get a Morant jersey. I got the Vancouver Grizzlies shorts, so now I got to get a Morant. I'm gonna get a Morant Vancouver shorts. So, yeah, I think that's what the connection between UConn is. UConn and Yale, I think, are in the same area. Now, I could be wrong. I don't really remember how long I'm going. I'm not going to go too terribly long because I am going to come on hopefully tonight. I have to see. We go do something. I don't know. Oh, and I hurt my arm. I played pickleball so long. I hurt my arm. I'm that pickleball game is getting like I lost. I won 8 straight matches, and then I lost 9. Let me see. I won 9. Yeah, I won 9 straight matches. Then I lost 10 and 11. And I was tired by then too. Like I really didn't want to play my 11th game, but they didn't have anybody, and I played with the lady. And what was cool is the dudes who I played against, they didn't really try hard either. I mean, they beat us without really trying hard, but the lady just couldn't keep up the way we need. But the hands, like I do the ropes, them hands, y'all, I'm blocking all that shit. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, because I do the ropes and lift the weights, things that, you know, because you got to lift your arms up quickly. So, yeah, I kind of overdid it. I got like 3-4 miles worth of pickleball. So, but yeah, that's my movie review. And I mean, I know I probably missed a few things, but that's all my notes. I forgot my pen and paper, so I had to take my notes on my phone. But I think I got everything in. But I like that I live more than you can dream. You know, and again, Army of Superman would be invincible. I don't care who it is, but they don't make it like that. They make it where you can knock them out. You know, you can knock out the Superman and Zed and all them. But Zed wins in this instance. Zed wins because they get the life force from Supergirl and then they take off. Now that might be a spin-off story too one day. Zed wins. So and I gotta watch out for my daughter. I know she's coming. We kicking it today. She's gonna kick it with me today to Father's Day. So either I'm gonna take her swimming to the brother-in-laws or go see my best friend named Tony. If they're not doing, I know in the city, you know, the city has the slave day. You know, the city has the slave day coming. So it's a lot of slave day parades. And a lot of you get slave day off. When in fact, we know that the Northern troops told the Buffalo Soldiers going to Texas in 1865 and tell them the war's over. And if you look at this, you look at the story of Juneteenth, there's two preachers that wanted to get a church built. That's where the story comes from. They said they used to celebrate right there, this vacant lot that they bought, and eventually the vacant lot is turned into a church. And before it was a church, they said they celebrated Slave Day. Now, if I've stayed in be time, I'll be 62 in a few weeks, right? And I grew up in Michigan, left when I was 18. Now, one time did we celebrate it, knew nothing about it, went to a black college, HBCU, not one time, and then lived there 4 more years, 7 years. I lived in Greensboro. Not one time did we celebrate it. I did not hear about it, I think, until 91 or 92. We saw some people celebrating, and my mother and I was riding, and we saw one of the parks, and there was a lot of people there. She's like, "Oh, that's Juneteenth." I'm like, "Okay." Then the people had to explain to me what the shit was. I'm like, "What do you mean?" And again, Buffalo Soldiers go down to Texas and tell the slaves they're free. Now, I know Texas is big and wide, but again, if you look at how it started a preacher wanted to build a church. It was there to get the land and then build a church. So, however you want to, so thank you, PJ. As I mentioned, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm either gonna take my daughter swimming because I bet she have her suit. Bet you anything she has her suit. Because she took her suit. I thought I was going to wash it, but I think she went through dirty, because I put it in the dirty clothes. She had it dry, and so I was just going to wash it. And I think she took it, so I bet she'll have it. So she'll be here in about an hour. So either we going into the city, we're either going to go into the city, or we're going to go out to Minnetonka and swim. Let her swim. Because my girl, she's getting her hair done, her nails, some shit. She may be getting her nails done. So she's going to be gone for about an hour or so. So we'll do something. I'll call my man and my best friend. Plus, I need to go talk to my son, talk some shit to him. Well, depending on what time it is, because his ass don't get up till 3 or 4. He stay up playing video games all night. So I got to go holler at him too. Yeah. And then we send all our save the dates out. Sent all those out for our wedding. So those went out of the addresses I had. Yeah. So that's all. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to have her until probably early evening. And we're just going to kick it. Whatever she wants to do, we're just going to kick it. So that's kind of where we're at. So probably go in the city. Go see my mom. Probably. because my mom had a little procedure done. So we'll probably go see her too. And she can swim at my mom's. You know, my mom's apartment has a pool, and she could go swimming. So, and I could call Tony up like he did a couple weeks ago, bring his daughter Aliana over, and they'll swim together. So, yeah, that's all. So that's probably it. I don't know if I'm gonna play pickleball or not. My arm is still kind of hurting. I need to do the ropes and need to run. I'm gonna do some more running. So, because my stamina was really decent. My seventh, eighth game, I was still I didn't get tired until really my ninth game. That's when I kind of got tired. And I was making fatigue mistakes. But up to then, even though I wasn't playing against the greatest people, I was playing my game. And I didn't really have to, overpower these people that weren't that good. I could just hit open shots, just work on my game. So, yeah, that's about it. All the sports are done. I don't know, maybe. Maybe we might live stream it, or we might show some recordings of the pictures and shit. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna live stream it. I might live stream when we do the Soul Train line. We gonna have the Soul Train line. They asked me what's one thing you needed. I needed to have the Soul Train line, because growing up in my life, since I can remember, when somebody in my family got married, we had a big Soul Train line at the party. And this is before Soul Train. We ain't call it this. I've been trying to think of what the original name of it was, but it was like, that's something. Because I went to my first wedding, and there's a picture, and both these people are deceased, but I saw Andy and his wife get married. Andy and Brenda, maybe 64, 65. They probably got married in 65. I'd have to know the age of their children to be exact. But I remember from then doing this. I was about 4 or 5, and they did the Soul Train. And then my cousin got pregnant at 14. She got married at 15 or 16. So maybe she got pregnant at 15. She got married at 16. I went to her wedding. She had a big Soul Train line. So, I mean, I might live stream that, because I do want to introduce the world to the Burt dance. So y'all don't know about the Burt dance. So I might introduce the Burt dance. Which gives I'd like to get pictures of this guy. What was his name? Not Tennessee Tuxedo. What was because it was one of the partners. He always had a fez on, and I'm trying to think which Hanna-Barbera character that was. And this is how Burt looks. He looks like that character, and I can't think of the name of it. Hanna-Barbera characters. But yeah, I'll break out the Burt dance. So I don't know, Dr. Sinister. That part I might live stream. I might live stream us dancing. So that's my biggest thing. And as I said before, we're gonna have a cash bar for an hour. So our mugs, all the drinks they can get. Then after that, they gotta pay for them. And the drinks are decent. So. But I tell you, we are spending a grip. We are definitely spending a grip. Okay. Oh man, I tell you, I'll say that for later. It's a bunch of stuff going on around here. Let's see. But yeah, I'll save that but I don't know, if I show it now, I gotta show it later. Because we had some trip stuff happen here. See how oh, okay. That's it right there. Oh, and I couldn't really sleep. Man, I didn't sleep good. I didn't get none of that knockout sleep. Not sure why. After sleeping so good the other day, I didn't get that good knockout sleep. All right, here we go. Right there. There we go. Yeah, right here. This is There's several things going on here, and I guess I'll start with this. Trying to find out. Okay. Check this out. I don't know if y'all heard about this. Well, let's hurt. Let me see. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, he is in town to announce the findings of the Justice Department's investigation into the city of Minneapolis and widespread abuse within the police department. Let's go ahead and listen to it to hear what the Attorney General has to say.
Alexander and Police Chief Brian O'Hara. Thank you all for joining us today. On May 25th, 2020, George Floyd was killed at the hands of a law enforcement officer who was sworn to protect him. As Mr. Floyd died, other officers failed to intervene. The Justice Department has since convicted 4 former Minneapolis police officers for their roles in the death of George Floyd. As I told George Floyd's family this morning, his death has had an irrevocable impact on the Minneapolis community, on our country.
All right. Let me see. That's cool. But there was some sisters talking, and I want to hear them. Where are the sisters? Because that's what I watched, and I'm sure it was Fox. Let's see. Because I don't see the sisters on here. I want to hear the interviews. It must be Carrie Levin. Let's see. I want to hear the interviews. Let's see.
Good morning, everyone.
With United States Attorney General Merrick Garland in Minneapolis, the Department of Justice revealed the anticipated results of its 2-year investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department that followed the murder of George Floyd.
The patterns and practices we observed made what happened to George Floyd possible.
You strong enough? Ow!
The DOJ found that MPD routinely used.
Now I know this isn't clear, but this is what they routinely did is use this knee on the neck. They were taught that. See, they tried to say when he was killed that they didn't teach this, but yes, they did.
Uses excessive force, discriminates against Black and Native American people, violates the rights of people engaged in free speech, and discriminates against people with behavioral disabilities. Those last parts regarding protesters and journalists and the Americans with Disabilities Act differentiate this report from a similar one handed down last year by the Minnesota Department of Human Rights. The 92-page federal report includes photos of police retaliating against protesters and journalists, and gives disturbing examples of police using force on unarmed, disabled people when dispatched to mental health calls.
And we learned that MPD and the city often send the police unnecessarily and that people are harmed as a result.
The DOJ report gives 28 recommended remedial measures, a foundation for improving MPD, and the city will negotiate what they will put in place, enforceable in federal court, as a consent decree with an independent monitor. 5 of the recommended measures involve use of force, improving policies and training. 7 of them involve accountability, improving the complaint, review, and oversight processes.
I am here today on behalf of the MPD to affirm our commitment to moving forward together.
Now, the timeline isn't exactly clear, but they said today that this negotiation process.
All right, these ain't the sisters I saw. I wanted to see these sisters, and I can't find them. But see, no one talks about the gang unit that was able to run. I mean, this gang unit. Like I was reading an article about somewhere in Nebraska. If you drive through, they stop you, and if they catch you with cash, they steal your cash, and they tell you won't have no charges. You just got to give them the cash. I mean, it's a shakedown. In their Supreme Court backed them. This dude told them he didn't want them to take their cash because that's what they was doing. They was finding cash and saying this was a way to hurt drug dealers. But most of the time they took cash wasn't drug dealers. And this dude, they was able to steal his 18 grand. because they thought they smelled weed. They searched his car, no weed. So forfeiture. That was another couple. Oh, this might be some of it.
If you carry a gun, then you need a U.S.
Oh, and you know what they're trying to say about guns? They're like, if you smoke weed, you know you can't carry a gun. I mean, they just won't stop. Let's see if this is what I was looking for when they talk to the people.
Wake of the DOJ's probe. The finding in the DOJ's report into the Minneapolis Police Department is stirring up raw emotions for families directly impacted by the actions outlined in the probe. Andre Locke's son, Amir, was shot and killed during a no-knock warrant search by MPD.
Thankful to witness history for the Department of...
So what they did is they had a warrant to kick an apartment. It was the person they were looking for wasn't there. A dude was laying on the couch and saw somebody coming. He picks up, saw somebody coming in. He grabs his gun and they just shoot him. Again, they kick in the door and just come in. And he was not the person they was looking for. So let's go.
Justice stepping into the city to lay groundwork for a meaningful change in our cities.
It's change which Valerie Castile has demanded for the last 7 years since her son, Philando Castile, was shot during a traffic stop in Falcon Heights. Change that she says is a collaborative effort.
It just breaks my heart that we waited so long to get the information in black and white, because we all know what goes on up here in the state of Minnesota. And it's about time for you to react and for these changes to be made, because we're here. We're here. We want to help you.
Something Mark Sundberg, the father of Tekle Sundberg, who was shot during a standoff with Minneapolis police, says must happen in order to ensure this new consent decree meets the needs of those directly impacted, ultimately saving lives in the process.
You got to hope, maybe with a small h, but you still got to hope.
We look for accountability. Accountability will happen. Truth needs no support.
Many community activists say they were grateful to collaborate with the DOJ on its investigation. However, they are still skeptical of whether or not things will change. Chris?
All right. Thank you, Devon. Our KARE 11 Investigates team spent the past 3 years looking into how...
I said before, they had a gang unit. They had a gang unit that just forfeiture money. As I said, if you look at the guy from Close, I think his name was L. He's from here. He didn't, really know banking, so he had about 30 grand in the house. And so somebody snitched because they knew it, and the gang unit broke in his house, took his money, never had to pay it back. They showed that individual gang units of Minneapolis gang department were enriching themselves, stealing from the people that live on North Minneapolis. So... what did I watch?
Good morning, everyone.
With United
but it's so. Let me see which one this is. It's funny when you saw Black Lives Matter. Who is she? She's kind of cute. I don't know who she is. What is this? Oh, this is PBS News. Okay, PBS is in their ass too. I like her though. Let's see what she got to say. What you got to say?
Repeatedly used excessive and unjustified deadly force against city residents. That was the conclusion of a major investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice. The findings documented long-standing patterns of abuse and discrimination against Black and Indigenous citizens. Special correspondent Fred DeSam Lazaro has the story from Minneapolis.
Let me make that clear. It's natives. They call themselves natives. They didn't call themselves indigenous until we started calling ourselves indigenous. So,
good morning, everyone.
With United States Attorney General Merrick Garland in Minneapolis, the Department of Justice revealed the anticipated results of its 2-year investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department that followed the murder of George Floyd.
The patterns and practices we observed made what happened to George Floyd possible.
You strong enough? Ow!
The DOJ found that MPD routinely uses excessive force, discriminates against...
It's the same thing. They've just piggybacked off somebody else. That's all. That's nothing new. But this one, where was it? Nope, must have been here. Right here. Check this out.
Stay up north for a second because we are following.
As I said before, we're only about 4 or 5 hours from Canada. Let me run this back. Okay.
Stay up north for a second because we are following a developing story across the border in Canada. At least 15 people are dead after a crash near Carberry. That's a small town west of Winnipeg. Investigators say a semi-truck and a bus collided. That bus carrying mainly seniors. First responders brought another 10 people to the hospital, but of course we will keep you updated as we work to get you more information.
Yeah, so that.
Did you know that in Texas, rifles can be carried?
So that is one of the stories. But our other story, this is a trip story here. I think I can get it. All right, right here. Up, 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 up. Here we go. Right here. All right.
In Minneapolis, where police say 5 people are dead after a horrific crash. The Minneapolis police chief says just before 10:15 last night, a state trooper tried to pull over a vehicle on I-35W after it was seen speeding near 46th Street. We're told the speeding car exited onto 2nd Avenue and then ran a red light, causing a crash at the intersection of Lake Street. Police say 5 people were killed in the car that was hit. The driver of the speeding car ran off. We're told they were caught by police.
This is an incredibly tragic and horrific scene.
No word yet on the identity of the victims who were killed. Police believe the driver may have been impaired. The crash remains under investigation, and we'll be following this story throughout the day.
Oh, buddy. You know what they say, when it rains, it pours. So that's a lot of what's going on in the Great White North. Where are the ladies at? Them ladies, like it's funny. It's funny. So all these people talked that had experiences downtown after this decision. And then guess who they put on there? There's a dude in Black Lives Matter. So as soon as he comes to the, and you can tell it's all an act, because as soon as he comes to the podium, he yells, Black Lives, Black Lives. I didn't even know they still existed as a group. So. Oh, here we go. Let's see what the community members say. And maybe this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Well, this is what I was looking for. Okay, here it is. Let them talk. I was looking for these ladies.
When do we want it?
Now. Their words echoed in City Hall.
We do not feel safe. We are grateful that the Department of Justice has finally decided to intervene. This intervention was long overdue, and we are hopeful. We are doing our best to put our trust in them.
Many say the report echoes what they...
Now, let me mention this. If you live in Minneapolis, you're under federal control. The feds are, they say on an average, when there's only like 7 or 8 police departments that the government, the federal government, runs their police department. We are now one of them. The feds run MPD. So keep that in mind. Let me see how much they're gonna let them talk, because I heard them when it was live.
Known for years.
You are finally seeing,
this dude,
hearing, and understanding what we have been saying the entire time.
The report looks into cases between 2016 and 2022. they wish that timeline was longer.
That's just a small little window into the amount of trauma that our community has been experiencing over the years.
Others show frustration in a system they say has failed them time.
Goddamn. Where'd she go?
Show frustration in a system they say has failed them time and time again, and that city and police leaders needed to take action years ago.
Make good on what is said today, which is that they want the involvement of the community. So that means working in solidarity with us to continue to apply pressure to those in positions of power who have failed the residents of the city of Minneapolis.
Activists say they would have liked to see more focus on the police treatment of unsheltered individuals in the report.
I mean, look at this. There's people that would have to have kerosene heaters, but still lived in these things with kerosene heaters. And they tore all it down with no one, with them not really having anywhere to go.
They are also crossing their fingers the independent monitor of the process can be trusted.
We want real monitors who are going to hold the city accountable for real results.
They hope their echoes won't be unheard.
It's an opportunity to really have compassion and do something about it.
And man, they said that one of them said St. Paul is the 16th deadliest city in the country. That St. Paul, so they're trying to get the feds to be over St. Paul too.
Do something about it.
All right, enough of so that's what's going on here. That's what's going on in the Great White North. Am I going an hour yet? I wasn't gonna go on too long. Let's see, I missed something. It's like it's like a shooting every day here in Dayton. Wow. The weather here is nice. It's supposed to be like right now it's 78 degrees right now. And today, because it was hot yesterday, it was a nice, sunny, hot day. I mean, it's still a little smoky up here. It's clear, but you can still see a lot of smoke. But where's the weather? Oh, here we go. That's going to be a high of 84 today, but might rain later. Like might rain for a couple hours this evening, which means maybe. And they're talking about might rain tomorrow because the high is only going to be 75. Oof. Because we were thinking about going to see the Twins play tomorrow. So yeah, the weather's nice. Let's see if it's over here. Whoops, where'd it go? Let me see, here we go. This is what it's looking like in the Great White North. 76 right now. Kind of windy. And then we're supposed to get rain. Supposed to get rain around, well, here's rain tomorrow. What time are we? 1, 2, 3. See, so my phone said rain in here. They're not. They're saying rain in the morning tomorrow. But you see it's supposed to be. So it's going to rain in the morning tomorrow, but looks like it's going to be nice. Then nice Monday, See, we're going to have 90s. Looks like the rest of the week here. Isn't it here? Yeah. So, yeah. And when it gets hot up here, we're full of water. It's very, it feels like you're in Florida or on the coast somewhere when it gets hot. It's so much water everywhere. Everywhere there's water up here. Yeah, Burnsville. This was for Burnsville. So get a tan next week. We were looking, my youngest son is going to the Twins game tomorrow. But we're going over to my brother-in-law's house. So we're not going to go. We were thinking about tomorrow going to see the Saints play, but the Saints were sold out. That's, the Saints is our junior, our minor league club. So we were going to see them play. So, but yeah, and next couple weeks, like on my birthday, the Twins are not here, but a couple days before then they are. So we might hit a game before then. So yeah, definitely go see some Twins games. But the Saints is fun too. I know a Midwest nigga. 80 to 50, 53 to 80 there. Okay. Yeah. And it got down to the 40s one time last week. It was like, whoa, what is this weather? What is this weather? So, but those are the things going on. So yeah, I'm definitely going to hit up some Twins games. I'll try to take some pictures, figure out got to download all the pictures to my computer. Man, downloaded all my shows. Whew, it took a while to do that. I forget. January will be 3 years for this channel, but my other channel was 14 to what, 20? So, yeah, very strong. I mean, as I showed you the pictures of the smoke, the smoke. Still, you can still see it a little bit. You can see it through the moonlight a little bit. Well, couldn't really see the moon, but Venus, like you could just see, especially as the lights, like you can see the lights, you can kind of see a little bit of the smoke is still, even now. I mean, it's blue, but without cloudy, it is not like my blanket back here, this rug back here, that blue, it ain't that blue. It is more of it looks like a hazy blue. That's what, like looking out the window right now, that's what I see. I see a hazy blue. So I see a hazy blue. So it's not clear skies. So, but no tornadoes, no storms, or no nothing. We had that last week. So yeah. So that's what's going on here. But that's all I was gonna do is about an hour right now. Yeah, I'm gonna do an hour right now. My daughter's gonna be here next half hour. I gotta jump my ass in the shower and get ready to go do something with her. So thank y'all for coming for this morning, this morning rant. Oh, let me see. I do. Let's look him up. Let's look him up to see how they did. What is it? Yes. Let's see how he did. That's him. Let's see how they're in the playoffs. Because they want to hide. Let's see. They want to hide what they're doing right now. Let's see if I can find how they're doing in the playoffs. Let's see. Because they were down 2-0. Let's see if this says anything. Again, they want you to show his highlights and not the games. Let's look this up. French. Basketball. French basketball finals. See if that comes anything. Let's see what this says. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Wimban closes out French League Finals with 22 points and lost. Generational prospect. Really? Closed out his French League career on Thursday with 22 points as his team lost 92-85. The teenager phenomenon expected to be the number one pick, but they lost. He lost. I feel like closing my part, blah, 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 blah. Strange beginning. But he lost. And he's not going to play in the Summer League. It says once selected team Summer League, but the Spurs have not said whether he will play. Yes, they did. The Spurs came out and said he won't play. That's what the Spurs came out. The Spurs said if they get him, he comes out, he won't play. Cool, where he tends to play in FIBA. Scheduled August 25th before training camp, the Spurs beginning in October. So he's going to play in the FIBA championships, which he'll get destroyed. So this is the hype, the hype machine that they fooled us with Ben Simmons. As I said before, they hid Ben Simmons down there so you couldn't see him play under pressure. And we don't need me to bring back my old video and shows why Ben Simmons can't hoop. When he had a chance to win the game and just shoot a layup. Again, could be fixed, but some players don't want that heat either. And he seems to be that guy. He's the guy that never work on his game. And we see that. We see it in people. It's a player. Oh my goodness. But it's like you look at his body, you tell he ain't putting no work in. What time she gonna be here? She gonna be here in a minute. So you can see people that put work in and people that don't. So this dude is all hype. This dude is all hype. So keep that in mind. Yeah, so he's going to struggle. And as I said, I'm calling it now. He don't even play this year. And they're going to do just like, you remember? All right, they're on their way. She wants to buy me steak. She's going to cook steak for me. So they're on their way. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, Wemby is trash, and we're going to see. Again, they're going to, remember, to finish my thought, remember they gave Ben Simmons his second year Rookie of the Year. Well, he didn't play last year. Remember, that's how bogus they did? They wanted to promote Ben Simmons so bad. Despite it being his second year, they still gave him Rookie of the Year. And it was totally unfair to the real rookies. Because technically, you could have said Larry Bird. Larry Bird, they drafted Larry Bird the year before he went pro. They had his rights the year before. They had made a trade, and they had his rights the year before. So it's just, technically the same thing. So, but we'll see. We'll see what he does. And well, Larry Bird, yeah, I guess it is because they did let Larry Bird be Rookie of the Year. Magic, and it was like Larry Bird was Rookie of the Year, and Magic won the championship and was championship MVP when it should have been Kareem. Yeah, I need to start talking to people because I'm going to have to jump in the shower because she's about to be here. And we're about to hit the road. Guess she's going to cook me steak for dinner. But, okay, so yes, Larry Bird didn't play. He was in his fifth year at Illinois State, went to Boston. He was Rookie of the Year. Magic won the championship, it was different. But Ben Simmons sat out the whole year but was on the team, got to practice. And again, he played the following year. So that's probably what because I wonder, okay, let's look at it this way. Will Chet Holmgren still be considered Rookie of the Year this coming season? Because Wemby is nothing but another Chet Holmgren. That's what Wemby is. He's him and Chet. So we've seen it. Chet is what, 7'4", and this dude's 7'5", 7'6"? So there's not a big difference in them. And Chet is going to have a better year because Chet's body has had a year to mature. But yeah, I got to jump in the shower and get ready for my daughter. So thank you. More than likely, I'm going to be fired up and I'll come back on at midnight. If not, catch me Sunday night. So on Father's Day night, I'll probably be full of it, but probably tonight. I don't know. So till we meet again, say less. This is the Big Eagle Hour. I know I probably missed some things in Flash, and I'll go over them again tonight. For those of you that didn't hear my review, you can go back or I'll go over it again tonight. But I'm telling you, don't go see that stuff. You're going to be highly disappointed. It is 2.5 hours of like disappointment. I mean, just if you just are a movie fan like I am, but this is, of all the movies, this was by far the worst. By far the worst movie. So just wanted to put that out there. I like action. Like, okay, here's a good example. And I got bored of it last night. That new movie on Netflix with the dude who played Thor, Escape, I think it's called, or Extraction 2. That movie is better than the movie on Netflix is better than The Flash. And that movie got on my nerves too, because he just beating up people like he got a gun. And like, okay, if you're surrounded by a lot of people and you have at least 4 or 5 mags of 100 rounds plus, you just start shooting the people around you. If you're outnumbered, you're just going to shoot people and keep life, you're going to switch from rifle to pistol. Again, John Wick would have killed all these people by himself. He'd have never got hit in the head. I mean, it's just kind of funny, but pet peeves I have. But I got to go. Jannar, thank you for joining. Even though you're catching the end of it. And I know coming on here, everyone has to have.
Got to have vision.
So I got to go, y'all. Till we meet again, say less. Look for me around midnight. I should come on. If I don't, might put a little header or even come on for a short time. So till we meet again, say less.
Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I'm coming. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the deuce. I hit.
I just be shopping and shit, drinking and shit, do a little smoking and shit. I'm legendary in this motherfucker. I'm legendary in this motherfucker.
I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the deuce.
Do that dance, baby, do that dance, let's work it out. Do that dance, do that dance.
Used to snort cocaine, now I beam for the check. Used to snort cocaine, now I beam for the check, yeah. Used to snort cocaine, now I beam for the check, yeah.
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black.
Where's all that noise? 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 Oh, that's just daddy.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
Flack, 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 cause flack, cause he flack, cause he flack, 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 cause flack,
flat because he wiped up Future's motherfucking ex-hoe.
Remember, I made this.
Dance with me. Dance with Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me. Oh yeah.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Say less.